Auburn didn't add a quarterback through the transfer portal. Should we be panicking?
Freezing temperatures are likely for several hours inland and a few hours closer to the coast.
Yes.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Joining us as he does every Tuesday, celebrating Charlie Tuesday, is the Auburn message board legend, Charlie 5. And look, the portal closes tomorrow, Charlie 5.
The
end of the portal period, as we know it, is closing. And it will remain closed until May 1st through May 14th, after all football programs are done with their spring practices and their spring games. So, Auburn does not appear to be adding a quarterback through the portal. Something wild would have to happen in order for that to happen, but boy, wouldn't that be exciting. And of course, we'll break that down if it happens. But some folks panicking, Charlie 5. Some folks saying, you know what? Robby Ashford, what Hugh Freeze has done with mobile quarterbacks and quarterbacks in general makes me feel comfortable. I'm more in that boat. I'm not panicking at all. But Charlie 5, where are you on this, and where should Auburn fans be on this?
Sure. So first of all, portal season is now my new favorite season. But like, you got spring, summer, fall, winter.
How fun was that?
Portal season is my favorite season. And now as we get better and like we build the roster and get our position, it may not be where we land 12 guys every offseason, but I think just the speed of it and everything has been great. But, you know,
it's free agency. It's NFL free agency.
The position that we were most looking forward to, possibly something happening. We haven't gotten anybody yet. And unless something pops, like you're listening to this, it's Tuesday, it closes tomorrow. Unless something pops overnight, it's probably not going to happen. There's not who we have on the roster right now, Robby, TJ, and Geriner. That's going to be your spring quarterbacks. And I'm honestly, I hope nobody pops, unless it's like a Spencer Sanders, somebody that's already in the portal or somebody like that. If you just want to add someone, because that could be just like, that would be like textbook tampering. I feel like if somebody pops and then commits like the net, but anyway, I digress.
Yeah. And there's some schools where, like, you know, the whole Sam Hartman leaving Wake Forest to go to Notre Dame. And it's like, yeah, we all know that was done before he entered the portal.
Yeah.
But like he like waited a week and like nobody seems to care, but you just got a feeling if that were to happen with Auburn and Hugh Freeze, like I just got a feeling people would care, you know?
Totally. Message boards care right now. Like they're the Ole Miss message boards is ready to like drop NDAs and all kind of stuff to take everybody's
stuff.
Yeah, but so how should you feel? Well, if I'm being completely honest, no boog, 100%. There was only about 2 guys out there that I thought would come in immediately and be way better and just beat Robby out, and that would be like McCall or
Leary.
Leary wouldn't even be able to play, more than likely be able to throw 100% during spring. I thought he was overrated. Okay. He was good 2 years ago. But, McCall or maybe like a Michael Pratt, somebody that could –
who never entered the portal.
Who never even entered the portal. There was just a lot of smoke. He ran the ball pretty good, throws it very efficient. So those are – other than that, like Spencer Sanders, probably – I don't know. He may not even be able to beat Robby out. So like we just kind of like we're grasping on to anybody that popped in. Oh my God, we got to have them. The latest was this Walker Howard from LSU, who was their 3rd or 4th string quarterback. And, oh my gosh, we missed out on, but whatever. I think we're fine for now. Because I don't think that the story is written on Robby yet. And there's a lot of stuff to work with him. And I know Hugh is very excited. He's through the things he talks to people about, the tweets that he likes or retweets or whatever. Yeah. He really likes Robby. So you got to have another guy, I think, for the room, just for depth purposes. But you can get, we just talked about Walker Howard. There's probably going to be 10 Walker Howards, maybe some higher rated third string young quarterbacks that are unhappy with the way the depth chart shakes out that you could add to the room to just create competition. I just don't think there's room to panic, because I don't think there was any for sure. There was like 5 or 6 for sure guys in the portal that we were going after that we missed, and we just can't land a quarterback. I just don't think that's the case. I mean, right now, so today, Tuesday, yesterday, you had Walker White, who's one of the top quarterbacks in the 2024 class, who absolutely chomping at the bit to come hang out with Hugh Freeze. He's here. So we don't have an issue. Hugh's not going to have an issue getting quarterbacks. I don't think that's right. That's the issue. It's the right one for the room. I just don't think there's any reason to panic yet.
Yeah. And I also think, as far as quarterback acquisition, friend of the show, the baby goat himself, Hank Brown, Hugh Freeze, they really think like he's really, really good. Like they love his upside. They love his potential. And so I think you're going to see this staff prioritize guys that are 3 stars that they see as like 4 or 5-star guys, because they're really confident in their ability to evaluate, which is kind of something we said about the old regime. And I don't know if we really got to see that happen, but the confidence that this staff has, and especially with quarterbacks, with Hugh Freeze, he's evaluating guys for his specific system. And you and I have talked to folks close to that, where there's going to be guys where, okay, yeah, you may be a 4 or 5-star tackle, on the recruiting sites, but in his system, he's like, you're a high 3-star guy. The way he's looking at it is, how do you translate with your skill set, position by position, to what he wants to do? And so I don't think he would have gotten Hank Brown in 2 different schools, right? He got him at Liberty, which makes sense, and then getting him to come over to Auburn. I think there's a lot of confidence in that. But the Spencer Sanders, that's the name that's not really going away, Charlie 5. And his situation's been weird, because he got into the portal and he chilled for a second, went back to Oklahoma State, and they're like, no, see you, dude. And then he went to Oxford, and it sounds like Alabama's talked to him some, but it doesn't sound like anybody really wants Spencer Sanders. And I think if he came to Auburn, I think Robby would beat him out. I really do.
I think there's there is a high probability of that. I don't know that the Oklahoma State thing was so much of a, we don't want you back because you're not good enough, versus, hey, you quit, don't come back kind of thing. Sure. He's the only name out there that's been sort of consistent, that's in the portal now, that would not raise any red flags. If you were to I think he probably ends up at Ole Miss, believe it or not. They don't seem to be very happy with Jackson Dart. Lane does not seem very confident with.
They seem like Dart. Similar quarterbacks to me.
They do.
Jackson Dart and Spencer Sanders. So
yeah, I don't really know what you can point to of either one of those that just do really well. I can't really. Nothing really comes to mind. And then Spencer Sanders, I don't want to poo-poo on him, because he may end up being on the team, and he makes
the room better.
He makes the room better for sure. Yeah. So, but it's like you said, I'm really the more I'm learning about the Robby situation and the injuries that he had, I really believe there's so much to work with there. And when you got the guys that are on the staff, I really think that they feel like they can make Robby their guy, and they've done more with less to work with, in my opinion. In the past,
I'm there with you. How we got to this situation from a quarterback standpoint is very, very interesting. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at Built Bar. Are you looking for a delicious treat, but you don't want to splurge, right? It's still January, so we're still kind of in high gear on our New Year's resolutions to get healthier. Built Bar is like a cheat code in all of this. You're able to still eat healthy while eating chocolate protein bars that look and taste like a candy bar. All Built Bars are covered 100% in real chocolate, and they've got unbelievably flavorful bars like churro, peanut butter brownie, coconut almond. I don't know how they do it, but they taste great. All the bars are around 130 calories. Most of them are 130 calories per bar, with just 4 grams of sugar and a whopping 17 grams of protein. They keep you full. They're delicious. And now, we've been telling you for years to go to built.com to buy these things. Now they are at your local Walmart or Sam's Club. So be sure to check them out. Of course, at built.com, you can go there for sure, but also Walmart and Sam's Club. Be sure to try them out. They are great. Speaking of great, Charlie 5 joins us as he does every single Charlie Tuesday. And how we got to this point is interesting because it seems like Auburn went all in on Grayson McCall, and it sounds like it was a two-way street.
Yeah.
And it didn't work academically. You and I talked about this before. Then Florida kind of was going to try to make it work. And then I think he looked around. He's like, I'll just stay at Coastal then. And so after that, there wasn't really anybody else that I think there was mutual interest in. Maybe there were folks that were interested in playing for Hugh Freeze, and then maybe Hugh had folks that he was interested in, but it was too late in the process.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what that timeline would have looked like, Charlie 5, but
yeah,
all in all, like there just wasn't a fit. And I said this on the show, I think I said it yesterday, where I'm a little surprised where we are with the portal closing tomorrow that we haven't, quote unquote, settled on getting another quarterback to just go through spring just for the heck of it. That's been the biggest surprise to me.
And that's what I keep going back to, because if you don't, and let's back up just a second.
Yeah. Grayson
McCall was going to be our quarterback. He was going to visit on Friday. He was going to commit on Saturday. It was a done deal. They were locked in. But then obviously the progress towards degree thing pops up. I'm not ready to close the door completely on Grayson McCall yet, which kind of leads me to this next point. There may be an outside shot. He could get some classwork done and graduate and be a grad transfer. Mm-hmm. So then the progress towards degree thing, I don't think really matters because he graduates.
Right.
So, but yeah, why have we not just settled? Like, why not take Spencer Sanders? He's basically begged to be here. Why not take him unless you have a plan, unless you have some sort of something in mind, that could pop in spring or whatever. I'm curious, the exact same point that you just made. I mean, Spencer Sanders to me would be the easy settle guy. It would be the easy settle guy. Probably would excite some people. Why not?
Well, it definitely gives you a quarterback competition in spring, summer, and fall.
Yeah.
It allows you to feel better about running Robby Ashford as much as you possibly can. Because look, Robby hasn't played enough for us to know how much these injuries are fluky or if he's always going to kind of be battling this kind of thing. We just don't know.
Because of the style that he plays, yeah.
Yeah. And I think he'll run the ball less with Hugh Freeze.
Yeah.
We'll see. His average quarterback rushes like 470 yards. Robby rushed for over 700 last year. So I think it'll drop a little bit and maybe not a ton. We'll have to see. And, maybe Robby doesn't take that next step passing as like you and I both think that he will. But regardless, it still inspires competition. And worst case, you get a backup that's better, we think, or at least a higher floor, we think, than TJ Finley, as long as he sticks around. We'll see if he's here after spring. And Holden Geriner. And then obviously Hank Brown, the freshman, when he arrives in the summer. So I'm surprised it hasn't been that, or like even a guy that's maybe been a backup some places, but maybe he's a former 4-star guy that just wants another chance somewhere else. I'm just surprised we haven't settled just to get a body, if I'm just being 100% real with you.
And that kind of goes back to what I was saying. It seems like that there's somebody in mind somewhere. I don't know who it is, but because all logical sense would tell you that you got to have 4 guys going into the season next year. You only got 3 right now. Why not? If you can't get anybody now, why not just?
You only have 3, assuming TJ leaves.
Yeah, assuming TJ leaves. Yeah,
right,
exactly. So here's 2 things I want to make sure we don't do. I don't want this to get into we can't land a quarterback, because I just think that's just not. I don't think that's in any stretch of the imagination that is the reality that we're in. In the way the portal thing works out, we joked about tampering earlier, but like there are there's a lot of guys you can name them out. You can just about list them out that whenever they go into the portal, 90%, they don't go take 5 visits a lot of times. Like 90% of them know where they're going to go. And it's just like recruiting in high school. You got to have those relationships, however you get them legally. I don't know.
Right.
But, once the Grayson McCall thing doesn't work out, you're like, okay, we're at zero. We're at ground zero right now. And we're with a brand new staff at a brand, like, how do we got to like pick it all up and go? So we were behind the 8 ball after the Grayson McCall thing goes. And then the second thing, we can't land a quarterback recruiting, and then we got an NIL issue. We can't pay. I don't think that's the issue either. I'm telling y'all, the Grayson McCall thing is a wild fluke. It put us in a bad deal. But them not adding a body, just adding a body, like Zac said, there's something up. There's something up.
So you think the fact that they didn't settle and just get another quarterback, you think that means there could be somebody coming after spring, that May 1st through May 14th period? You think there's something kind of in the works there already?
There's got to be. Yeah. I mean, there's got to be. And it could be, like I said, I know we're going to talk about what the outlook moving forward, but maybe maybe we have a solid plan for Grayson McCall and his academics. I mean, we'll just have that, that could be a possibility.
So the timing of that would be very interesting to me, Charlie 5, and I want you to convince me otherwise. We'll touch on that in just a moment right here on Locked On Auburn. Want to encourage you folks to check out the Locked On Auburn Discord. It is free. All you have to do is click the link in the episode description down below. Charlie 5's in there all the time. I'm in there as much as I possibly can be. It's a lot of fun. Once again, check out the Locked On Auburn Discord. So the timing of this, if Auburn were to not add someone during this portal period, which certainly seems likely at this point, you go through spring, and that May 1st to May 14th window, when the portal opens back up, it's portal season for 2 weeks instead of 45 days. It's just 2 weeks. Let's assume TJ enters there. And so you definitely have room. And I think there's going to be a handful of Auburn guys that leave. And you get your quarterback. Let's say it's Grayson McCall. Let's say it's someone, right? Some starter where it's like, oh, okay, he's proven more at the college level to this point than Robby Ashford. Let's just say it's somebody like that. They come in and they're a probable starter. Where does that put you, Auburn, in a situation where this is a new staff, you're installing everything, and that first spring and the new regime is really, really important because nobody knows what you're running, right? That's when you install all this stuff for the first time. How much does it put you behind the 8 ball to not have your guy, your projected starting quarterback, go through spring? Charlie 5, that's my biggest concern. I mean, you build your team in the spring and then you get ready for your season in the fall. And I know college football is changing to some extent. You're going to see some guys do this, but I don't love the timeline of that, if that is what the plan is.
I get it. And logically speaking, I mean, I would agree with you most of the time. It didn't really affect Nick Marshall. The first season that Gus was here,
sure,
he came in the summer and we went to the national championship. So obviously that is a best case scenario. Here's my thing: if this was like 3 or 4 years and Robby had like 2 years under his belt, like everybody's going to be learning the stuff for the first time. You know what I mean? Sure. So is 14 practices really that much of an advantage on us? If there's somebody out there that has experience, is there really that much, especially you come in June and you get in the playbook, you probably have been in the playbook if we're being honest.
I don't think it's just 14 practices though. I think it's a lot of time watching film. I think it's a lot of time throwing after practice with wide receivers that are already on campus. I think it's picking up on the nuances of your center. I think it's the nuances of kind of learning the offensive line that's going to be in front of you, which I think 4 out of the 5 of them will be newcomers. I think it's a lot more than that. But all in all, I would say yes, I do think so. This isn't the same, Charlie 5. This isn't the same thing, but we kind of saw a version of this last year where Calzada was coming in and he was nicked up in the spring, but he went through, he was limited, but he went through spring, through more than I think they let us see. And we're like, okay, he's doing enough where he's going to be competitive in the fall. And he just wasn't. Like, he just was not competitive in the fall at all.
Yeah.
And you hope that they bring in somebody that's more of a sure thing than Zach Calzada. So once again, I'm conceding this is not the same thing. But I do think spring matters, and I do think being able to compete from start to finish is part of it when you look at the scope of the offseason in any position. And so, like, if I'm Robby and I'm in those 14 practices and an A-day, I'm killing it, right? Like, I am just feeling that I've taken that next step under Hugh Freeze's offense, and then you go out and get somebody else. I just don't know exactly what that looks like. It would rub me in a weird way, and I don't know if that's entirely fair for me to say, but that's just kind of my gut reaction to it as this conversation's gone this way.
When you say rub me in a weird way, are you talking about from Robby's perspective or from your perspective?
Both.
Both? I mean, I get it.
More Robby's and just the player where it's like, and I know players understand, like, they're always going to try to bring in somebody better than you. Like, I totally get that. But I don't know.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that Robby's performance could factor into who they bring in spring? Could Robby's performance if Robby goes out and kills it? Okay, we necessarily maybe we don't need a starter. Maybe we just need maybe we just need a dude that we can put in the room and compete with Geriner and be a solid backup. Or maybe that's the case. I just don't see. I think ideally you want a kid here for spring, but I don't know that if there is that dude out there that is better than Robby. I just don't know that spring is the key to unlocking everything and making it that much better.
Sure, I get it.
But maybe that's maybe that's the plan. Hey, we couldn't get our number one guy. We'll throw a couple other. We'll cast, throw a few casts out there. See if we can land a big fish. If nobody bites, we're going to go through spring. We're going to give Robby the keys to the kingdom and let him roll. And if he's ready, we don't necessarily have to go try to help Grayson, or not help Grayson McCall, hope for Grayson McCall to get his grades in line, or whoever else might be out there. Some maybe G5 kid that may want to level up or something like that. Like, who knows? It may depend a lot on how Robby performs. I could see that being a case.
I still think you need someone no matter what, though.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
So maybe I am being a hypocrite here to some extent, because I just, based on how banged up he got last year, you need to put stock in the backup. And I don't know if that's TJ through spring. I don't know if you try to give him enough for him to possibly stay to be a backup. I don't know if that is even something they're trying to do. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know if Geriner's ready to be a backup. Certainly Hank's not quite yet. He's just young. But so, like, you got to get somebody. And with that mindset, if you're going in there with, maybe I'm talking myself out of this already. Because if you're going in there to get somebody, you might as well get the best dude you can and tell them, like, hey, maybe you can start. Maybe you can start and do this. So
just go get the best. Yeah, the best available. And there's a ton of dudes that I think, like we talked about Walker Howard earlier. I think there could be multiple Walker Howard type kids that were highly recruited, that are redshirt freshmen, maybe even redshirt sophomores that just that have somebody that like Stetson Bennett that had played for 10 years in front of them that you just can't unseat. There's probably Georgia probably has two or three of those that could probably play, that you could add. There's the legend of what's his name, Brock Vandegrift. That's right. Like every single year he's going to come to Auburn because his parents went to Auburn or something like that. I mean, there's guys like that. He'd rather be a third string quarterback at Georgia. So
but
there's a lot of guys that are going to be like that.
Yeah,
I think in spring that you maybe could add to the room, and maybe maybe you think that you think they could challenge Robby, or you're so comfortable with Robby that you don't necessarily care if they beat Robby out. You just want to have them in there to get, just get better and be there if you need it. Because like I said, I said in the Discord today, hey, Hugh beat Arkansas with his third string guy. So like, it's not out of the realm that third string dudes get in there. They get in there. And right now, Baby Goat is who we're riding with. If you don't add somebody, which is, I would love, but I'm afraid he may get he could get broken like a pencil. He's got
to develop physically for sure.
Yeah, totally.
Seems like a sharp kid though, for sure. Charlie 5, how can people give you some love and support you, hear you, all that good stuff, buddy?
Absolutely. Find me on Twitter at @the_Charlie_5. We've talked about Locked On Auburn Discord 100 times. You got to join it. That's free. It's a lot of fun. Every single day. Let's have some fun. auburnlive.com, the corner message board, or you'll find me around. So just be on the lookout.
That's right. You can find all my written work at auburndaily.com, and we'll see you tomorrow. This has been Locked On Auburn.